A series of passenger plane crashes occurred worldwide in 2024. But December 2024 has been a tragic month for aviation, with several devastating crashes that have left the world in mourning. From the catastrophic Jeju Air Flight 7C-2216 crash in South Korea, which claimed the lives of over 120 people, to the Azerbaijani Airlines Embraer 190 accident in Kazakhstan, and other heartbreaking incidents worldwide, these tragedies have shaken the aviation community and impacted countless families. In this video, we'll explore the details of these accidents, uncover the factors being investigated, and discuss the broader implications for air travel safety. Join us as we reflect on these events, honor the victims, and examine how the aviation industry is responding to prevent future disasters. Stay tuned. On 25th of December, 38 people died when an Azerbaijani Airlines flight, which had been due to land in Russia, crash-landed in Kazakhstan. The circumstances around the crash remain unclear, but limited evidence so far suggests it may have been damaged by missiles fired by a Russian air defense system as it tried to land in Chechnya. Here's what can know about Flight J28243. In the early morning on Christmas Day, an Embraer 190, operated by Azerbaijani Airlines Flight J28243 took off from the airport of Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan. It was due to land in Grozny, the capital of the Russian region of Chechnya. On board were 67 passengers, most of whom were Azerbaijani nationals, as well as those from Russia, Kazakhstan, and Kyrgyzstan. As the flight approached Grozny, it entered thick fog, surviving passengers said. They described the pilot attempting to land the plane twice during these conditions. It was on the third attempt that they felt a series of explosions hit the plane. A flight attendant on the plane, Zulfikar Sadov, told local media the impact of the strike caused panic inside. While they tried to calm the passengers down to get them seated. At that moment, there was another strike. A video filmed in flight by a passenger showed oxygen masks hanging from the ceiling. Azerbaijan's transport minister Rashad Nabiev said, all survivors without exception stated they heard 3 blast sounds when the aircraft was above Grozny. He said the plane was subjected to external interference and damaged inside and out as it tried to land. In recent weeks, Ukraine has been targeting Chechnya and other parts of the Russian Caucasus with drone strikes. After the crash, Moscow authorities said such attacks had triggered a protocol to close the airspace above Grozny. After the incident over Grozny, the plane diverted some 450 kilometers, 280 miles, east to Aktau Airport in Kazakhstan. Why it was diverted over the Caspian Sea remains unclear, a far longer journey than several other options. Russian aviation authorities have claimed the plane's pilots were offered other airports but chose Aktau. Data released by the flight tracking website Flight Radar showed the plane zigzagging up and down as it approached Aktau, before turning and crash landing just kilometers from the airport. Video from near the scene witness shows the plane descending rapidly through the air before crashing into the ground and skidding for several hundred meters in a cloud of flame. 38 people were killed and 29 survived, some with serious injuries. Remarkably, some survivors were seen walking and crawling from the plane's wreckage. The pilots of the plane are credited with saving lives by managing to land part of the plane, despite them being killed in the crash. It is believed most of those who survived were seated rear part of the aircraft. Initial reports from Russian media suggested the aircraft collided with a flock of birds. However, aviation experts and others in Azerbaijan believe the plane's GPS was affected by electronic jamming and it was then damaged by shrapnel from Russian air defense missile blasts. On Saturday, Russian President Vladimir Putin apologized to his Azerbaijani counterpart over the downing of the plane but did not say whether Russia was responsible. He said the tragic incident happened when Russian air defense systems were actively repelling Ukrainian drones. On the other hand, Ukraine's President, Volodymyr Zelensky, said Russia must provide clear explanations and stop spreading disinformation. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov had earlier refused to comment on reports the plane was hit by Russian weaponry and said an investigation was underway. On Friday, White House National Security spokesperson John Kirby told reporters that the U.S. had early indications Russia was responsible, but declined to comment further. So far, Azerbaijan's government has avoided directly accusing Russia, but Azerbaijani government sources told Reuters news agency that the investigation has already identified the weapon that fired on the flight as the Russian Panzer S anti-aircraft system. The plane's flight recorders, which contain data to help determine the cause of a crash, have been found. Reports suggest both Russia and Kazakhstan have proposed having a committee from the Commonwealth of Independent independent states, CIS, to investigate the crash, but Azerbaijan has instead demanded an international inquiry. Azerbaijani Airlines and several other airlines have suspended flights to some Russian cities in response to the crash. December 29, 2024, Jeju Air Flight 7C-2216, operating flight from Bangkok's Suvarnabhumi Airport to Muin International Airport in South Korea, tragically crashed during landing. The Boeing 737-800 aircraft, carrying 181 people, skidded off the runway and collided with a concrete barrier, resulting in a catastrophic fire. The flight, 7C-2216, was a Boeing 737-800 operated by Jeju Air, Korea's most popular budget airline. Air traffic control authorized the plane to land at Muin International Airport at about 8:54 local time on Sunday, just 3 minutes before issuing a warning about bird activity in the area. At 8:59, the pilot reported that the plane had struck a bird, declaring "Mayday, Mayday, Mayday" and bird strike, go around." The pilot then aborted the original landing and requested permission to land from the opposite direction. Air traffic control authorized the alternative landing at 9:01, and at 9:02 the plane made contact with the ground, coming down at roughly the halfway point of the 2,800 meters runway. One video appears to show the plane touching down without using its wheels or any other landing gear. It skidded down the runway, overshot it and crashed into a wall, before erupting into flames. A witness told the South Korean news agency Yonhap that they heard a loud bang followed by a series of explosions. Videos from the scene show the plane ablaze with smoke undulating into the sky. Fire crews later extinguished the fire. The first of 2 survivors was rescued from the crash at about 9:23, with the second being rescued from inside the tail section of the plane at about 9:50. Lee Jong-yoon, the chief of the Muin Fire Department, told a televised briefing that the bird strike and bad weather may have caused the crash, but that the exact cause is still being investigated. The flight and voice recorders from the plane have been recovered, though the Yonhap news agency reported that the former was damaged. An investigator told the news agency that the black boxes could take up to a month to decode. One passenger on the flight messaged a relative, saying that a bird was stuck in the wing and that the plane could not land, local media reported. Officials, however, have not confirmed whether the plane did actually collide with any birds. The head of Jeju Air's management said that the crash was not due to any maintenance issues. The South Korean Transport Department said that the head pilot on the flight had held the role since 2019 and had more than 6,800 hours of flight experience. The plane was carrying 175 passengers and 6 crew. 2 of the passengers were Thai and the rest are believed to have been South Korean, authorities have said. Many are thought to have been returning from a Christmas holiday in Thailand. The official death toll stands at 179, making it the deadliest plane crash on South Korean soil. All the passengers and 4 members of crew died. Officials have been collecting saliva samples from family members gathered at Muin Airport to help identify bodies of the victims. Other victims have been identified by their fingerprints. Authorities have so far identified 141 bodies. 5 of the people who died were children under the age of 10. The youngest passenger was a 3-year-old boy and the oldest was 78 years old, authorities said. Acting President Choi Sang-mok has ordered an emergency safety inspection of the country's entire airline operations. Muin has also been declared a special disaster zone, which makes central government funding available to the local government and victims. All flights to and from Muin International Airport have been cancelled. A national 7-day period of mourning has been declared, and New Year's Day celebrations in the country are likely to be cancelled or scaled down. Aircraft maker Boeing has said it is in touch with Jeju Air and stands ready to support them. Jeju Air apologized to families, with its chief executive saying in a news conference that the airline had no history of accidents. It is believed that Sunday's crash has been the airline's only fatal accident since it was launched in 2005.